This story is about the time I got chokeslammed by my stepdad. That might sound very violent, but looking back, it was stupid, and now I laugh when I think about how it all went down. Even though I see the stupidity in the event, I learned a valuable lesson about myself. I plan to teach this lesson to you because I know there are so many people who have the same tendencies as me. Listen and please take in everything I have to say because this might prevent you from making a mistake you will regret. I don't ever get angry at people's actions or my own. I use this technique where I hold in all my emotions and feelings I want to express that could potentially cause conflict. I don't go to extremes to avoid conflict, but I can usually avoid things that aren't necessary. I've understood from a young age that the stakes are different for a young black man. Controlling my anger has become a part of my nature to survive in this world. The problem that comes along is the long-term effect. Forgetting how to determine where conflict should be avoided and when a problem should be addressed. That leads me into the troublemaker of my story, my little sister. Julissa is the second child to my mom, but the first child to my stepdad. They spoil her and she doesn't really get the consequences for her actions. In comparison to me, where their parenting was very strict and all my actions had repercussions. This is something I got used to as I grew up. I had to accept it for what it was and keep grinding to get to college, not letting anyone stop me. While I kept this mindset as the oldest sibling, during the senior year of high school, I hit my breaking point. Julissa came home with an F on her report card to accompany that there were a bunch of D's and C's. I knew what that meant. She was about to get the beating of a lifetime. My mom did not play with bad grades. She understood as an African American we must try 2 times harder than our white counterparts just to keep up. She was not letting us do anything that could stop us from obtaining greatness. Jalissa strolled into the house with a carefree look on her face. She was ready to look death in the eye, Mom, and face the consequences. My mom focused her eyes on Jalissa, yelled at her, then told her to go to her room to do her homework. My facial expression quickly changed as the event came to an anticlimactic end. I had my movie theater popcorn waiting for her to get what she deserves. I laid on the bed and thought about the last time I got a bad grade. I got a C on my report card leading to a sequence of losses for me. I got yelled at, then a beating, which led to me getting nothing for Christmas. My mom promised me after I got off punishment I could get my iPod I asked for. I stayed on punishment for 3 months, and my mom grew a liking for my Christmas gift and kept it instead. The next morning, I asked Julissa if she got on punishment. She looked up into my eyes and said no. A day or two later, her phone broke, and she asked my mom for a new phone. Even though just got bad grades, my mom said she needs a new phone for when she's out in the world since it's dangerous. I can understand this. I didn't really care about it until I started being affected by this. I had a meeting in Center City, and I was unable to call my contact because my mom did not pay the phone bill. I did not know of this, so I wandered around the streets asking to use someone's phone. This was a low moment for me, and I could feel my face getting hot as the steam rose from my head. I came home and asked my mom why the phone was off. She responded saying I had to buy Julissa a new phone. I looked at Julissa's phone, and she now had the best phone in the house. Everything at once hit me. Her getting bad grades, to getting the best phone out right now, while my phone getting turned off because of it. This sequence of events is shortened for the sake of the story, but there was a build-up before I confronted my mom. All the anger I had kept in was released onto my mom. I told her how I felt about everything and how it wasn't fair. I was succeeding in getting my point across until my stepdad came in. He's a cool person, and we usually don't have conflict, but this time he came in at the wrong time. He started saying things like, "Why are you bitching? You know God is on your side." Or, "Worry about yourself, why you worried about her?" My nostrils then flared as rage overtook me. It wasn't about him. This was a conversation between me and Mom. I ended up responding with, "Why are you here?" He got up and portrayed himself as the alpha male, and we went back and forth. Then we got close. His hand collapsed around my neck as my feet swiftly left the ground. My flailing body fell onto the dining room floor. All the family members involved were heated and walked to separate rooms. Later that night, my stepdad came into my room, tears coming down his face, apologizing for what he'd done. We gave each other a hug as tears came down my eyes onto his shoulder. Stakes are different as a young black man. Understanding how to control our emotions are vital to surviving and thriving. This was conflict between me and my stepdad in the privacy of our home. What if this was outside? What if there were witnesses? When you hold in all your emotions, there is no clue when you will let them out. The consequences are dire for us. Using this tactic, holding in your emotions is not safe in a world where almost everything is against us. People are losing their lives because they are forgetting what happens to us when we are unhappy with society. We get fed up at how society treats black people and lash out in ways that only causes more harm than good. The main problem with Black Lives Matter is because society sees us as mad and nothing else. I understand how it feels. It hurts me every day knowing we are losing brothers left and right. There isn't really much to be done to stop it. My story is to beg you not to hold any of your emotions. I understand the technique and it doesn't work. Face your problems head on, protest, preach, let out your anger in positive ways, or you will end up dead.